God for how good it is to us. And thank you, God, and honoring God and truly purpose.
Amen.
Thank God for all of you. Sister Thomas. Thank God for everybody that's here. I don't know, I don't know why I'm so tickled. I've been tickled all day. It's been something, I don't know what it was. When I got up this morning, I usually eat breakfast every morning. And I got my, and I usually don't eat it, but I've been eating it for the last 6 months now. Oatmeal. That's what they said. But I thank God for this morning. I thank you for right now. I thank you for you that are here. I'm not going to be long in time. I always tell you that by the time you get bored and want to go to the bathroom, I'll be done. I'll be done. That's the prayer. It don't take me long to say what I got to say. God don't give me enough to tell you to go all through the week. You know, for me to talk to you the whole 7 days. You just give me enough. What I give you is good for the week. But I thank you for the day. I thank you for everybody been asking me all the week that I was asked this morning with Miss Jenny Reed when I got to go. She said, "You a preach today?" I said, "I don't know." Well, when you don't know, I said, "Whenever he tell me." So he did tell me. Not too long ago. But that don't matter. Because honestly, my father in the ministry told me, say, always be ready.
Always right.
Always be ready. I've been watching that. I've been doing this day. Not going to be a long time. I thank God for how good it is. And I want us to pay a little bit of attention. Just real quick, like I want you to listen to what I said. Turn to Isaiah 6th chapter. And sorry, but I won't. But Isaiah 6. In my subject, while you're turning to my subject is God's vision in difficult times.
Amen.
God's vision in difficult times. God's vision in difficult times. We're in a difficult time right now. We're in a difficult time right now. I mean, and I said this a number of times. I said one more time, Bishop, I don't think the world going to be like it was in 2018. I don't think it'll never be that. It ain't going to be back there no more. It ain't going to be like that no more. It ain't going to be like that no more. There was a time when I went to exercise in the theater and had a good time at exercise in the theater. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that anymore. I'm going to be conscious of who I'm around, who I sit around, or who I walk around, or whatever. I'm going to be conscious of that now. Because sometimes, I mean, people think that the virus is going away, but it ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be here. It's going to be here. It's going to really be here. So I'm talking about God's vision in difficult times. We're in a difficult time right now. Difficult time, I mean that there's something going on in your life that you can't put your finger on. Have it ever been a thing in your life that you couldn't put your finger on, something was going on wrong, and you couldn't really pinpoint it? You knew of something wrong. You knew of something. I've done that so many times, found something that was wrong, and I couldn't pinpoint it. I went to the doctor last Monday. The computer called me and told me that I need to go. I went on the computer to call me, and when the computer called me and told me I need to go, I said, ain't nothing wrong, so why do I need to go? And then at the end of it, she said, in order to get your medication, you got to come in. I was like, all right, I'll go. Other than that, I wasn't going. But I had to go. And when I got out there, the nurse, she put me on the scale and said, oh, that looks good. She took my temperature. She said, that looks good. She took my blood pressure. She said, that looks good. I said, oh, I kind of laid back then. What else going to be wrong? So I got in the room there, and the doctor came in, and he started looking at the computer. He said, you haven't had your shot this year. I said, yes, I did. He said, no. I said, yes, I did. He said, no, it's been a year since you had it. Oh. Anyway, punched me right there. But wasn't nothing wrong. He said my sugar and my this and my that, everything was okay. He said, you're looking good, you're in good shape. And I said, I'm 77. He said, but you're in good shape. Well, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for that. I thank you for that. So, we're going to talk real quick about God's vision in difficult times. Now, I'd like to read it. I would like to read it to you. And that's going to take up too much time if I read it. So God put it right here. He put enough right here for me to talk about it without me reading it. And I know you history readers, will go along with me. Now, it talks about that Isaiah was born in Jerusalem. He said he was in Jerusalem and said that he was around 700 years, about 700 years before Jesus was born. That's a long time, 700 years before Jesus was born, Isaiah was. But Isaiah was dependent upon Uzziah. Uzziah had a disease that was a killing disease. It was a disease that would take you out. He had leprosy. And he had it for a while. He had leprosy for a while. But then Isaiah, being who he was and being before Jesus was born, it was a difficult time at this point in time. Yeah. Because in the 6th verse, it says, in the year. It didn't say what year, but it's there. It says what year in the history. It says what year, but Sister Thomas said, in the year King Uzziah, he was a king, Uzziah died. In the year King Uzziah died, he said, I saw the Lord. Difficult time now. If I'm dependent upon you and upon Bishop to take me places and to supply me with food and supply me with things I need, and then I wake up in the morning and you and Bishop is gone, that's a difficult time. I gotta look for somebody else. That's a difficult time. When I'm dependent on something or somebody and they leave. So King Uzziah was the king and he had what he needed, and Isaiah was the man that was working under the king, so Isaiah could get whatever he needed from King Uzziah. So he said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. So God allowed Isaiah to see him in this difficult time. And if we ourselves, if we are in a predicament that we are, if we can just focus our eyes and look at God, that's all we need to do. That's all we need to do. All we need to do is look at God. You can't go down there to Walmart over here on Saddle Creek and see God. You can't go over there. He's not over there dressed all up in no robe. God's not over there. He's over there. But he's not in the robe. You can't go over there and say, oh, this is God. Because you all look, this is God. This tree here is God. Or this image here. You can't do that. But you can show God by showing him all these different things around you. You can say, this is God. All this is God. But Isaiah was able not just to see that, he was able to see the image of God. And if you know anything about the scriptures, you can visualize an image of God. God will give you a vision of him in the word. He will give you that vision. I've seen him in the word. I needed to see him. I needed to see God. And I was in a predicament to where I need to see somebody. I was looking at a lot of people, but wasn't enough. It was one person that needed to walk through that door, or two people. And I'm going to tell you their name. One of them was named Jeremiah McGee. I needed him to walk through the door. I didn't know he was, but I needed him to walk through the door. And I'm standing, and everything is being said, and all of a sudden, a face appeared in the door, and he was real too. He wasn't a vision. It was Brother Jerry. And the next face was Andrea Lucas. You know her. Brother Jerry showed up first, and then Andrea walked through the door. And when they walked through the door, I was free in my spirit because they walked through the door. But God will allow you to see him in difficult times. So Isaiah said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. And then he described him. He said he was high and lifted up. The image that Isaiah saw, he saw God high and lifted up. God is above everything. Everything that you can think about, God is above it. He's above it all. He said he was high and he was lifted up. He didn't say how long his hair was, did he? He didn't say what color his eyes were, did he? But he said he seen it. And he said he was high and he was lifted up. One thing that he seen, he said, and his train filled the temple. So it indicates that God was high and he lifted up, but he had on a robe. He had on a robe. Envision him with a robe on. And at the end of his robe was they called the train. And I seen one time, I seen a lady getting married, and the train on her dress, it had about 4 people carrying her. I said, don't need all that mess. But it was a long train, so it said, and his train, the hem, the edge of God's garment filled the temple where he was. I mean, all around him, the edge of his garment filled the temple. So I just seen God, he was high and he was lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Filled the temple up. I imagine it was white. That's what he said, it was white. I don't know what it was trimmed with, this train, but it was white. I believe it was white. God's about white. He's about white. He ain't about nothing down, nothing black, nothing brown. He's about all white. God's about white. And I'm talking about white like this that April got on. White. I'm talking about white. White like this, some kind of white. White. What this color? Well, it didn't have none of this on it. No. So he was high and lifted up, and he said, and his train filled the temple. But he said there was some more objects around God. Seraphim around God. Seraphim, we have movies that show these little creatures that sit up on the top of the building. You've seen that. Gargoyles. Gargoyles is what they call it. Yeah, you've seen it. But this wasn't gargoyles. These were not gargoyles. These were seraphim. And the seraphim, it shows that these were some, I call them creatures, is what I call them. And they were, and it said that they was around God. They was in the building what God was. And one of them made a voice and said, "Holy, holy, holy." And it said that when he said that, the post of the building that was holding up, it shook. It shook when he said, "Holy, holy." And I tell you, sometimes when you praising God. You've been there. I know you've been there. When you're praising God and you call God's name, it looks like everything that's around you that's not right leaves. You've been there. I mean, it just goes. Whenever you're into God, praising God from the heart, it looks like everything that's moving moves. It moves. It moves. We were coming from Des Moines once, and I had a 61 Impala, and we was headed to Omaha. And it had snowed a little bit, and there was ice on the road, and I was driving. I was coming on, and all of a sudden, I seen these lights coming up out of the creek right there, where they had to slid off the road, and my car started swerving. It started swerving, and my wife said, "Jesus!" That's all she said. That's all she said, and my car was about to make this next turn, and if it had made this next turn, all we would have did was roll. But you know what? When she said Jesus, it couldn't, I can say this, it could not make, it was on the ice, but it couldn't make that next turn. It couldn't do that. All it did was almost did it, and it straightened out, and we came on home. Just because she said Jesus. And when you praising God from the heart, when you say that from the heart, stuff moves up. It moves out your way. Whenever you coming from the heart with these praises from God, stuff moves. It moves. You get out of the way. So it said that when they said holy, holy, it said the doorpost, that one of the posts shook. And it also said that in the house was filled with smoke. One of them cried out, "Holy, holy," because God is holy. Nothing unholy about God. I was talking to somebody, it was a I ain't calling the nationality of the religion, but they was telling me about how God makes evil. I don't like to talk about that. God created everything, but I don't want, when I'm talking about God, I don't talk about evil. It's all good when you talk about God. Everything is good. So the vision of God in difficult times. So the seraphim, one of the seraphim, now Isaiah was a man that was in a mess. He was typically in a mess. We are people that are in a mess also. But Isaiah was in a mess. He was living in a situation, he was living in a way that he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't understand what it was okay. What he was doing, it was okay. Before you knew about God, before you knew about the scriptures, everything you did was all right. Before my mom taught me how to treat a lady, the way I was treating was okay with me. It was all right with me. What I was doing was okay. Mom said, no, you don't do that. You don't do it like this. You don't do it like... Blew me away because I thought I was okay. But before you get in the word, before you know the word, everything you do is all right. It's okay. Because you can justify it. So the way Isaiah was living was all right to him because he didn't know anything about God until Uzzah died. But it said one of the seraphim, when he said these things, God allowed him to talk to him. And he was talking to God. And this is one of the things he said. You can read this right there. He said, I'm a man of unclean lips. I'm a man with unclean lips. It sounds like he was a cusser. Sounds like he said bad words. If he didn't say bad words, he wasn't talking good about people. Haven't you been around people that don't talk good about people? They're not really busybodies, they're just talkers. They're not trying to get into your business, they're just talkers. You've been there, haven't you? You heard them people, they're just talkers, and you wonder, is this person just trying to get in other people's business or what? But Isaiah said, I'm a man of unclean lips. And he said, I dwell with a people of unclean lips. So I'm unclean, and I dwell with people that are unclean, so how can anything be good when everything is bad? And he said, when he said that, he said, one of the seraphims flew over to the altar. That's what he said, didn't he? He flew over to the altar, and he had some tongues. Back in the South, they had tongues, a thing that had clips on it like this, and you catch hold to one hand of it, and you can pick up a 15 or 50 or 100 pounds of ice with this thing because you had the tongues. That's one type of it. Other tongues is things just like clippers. So I don't know which one he had, but he said that one of the seraphim flew to the altar, and off of the altar, he got a live coal. You know what a live coal is, though? We used to carry the live coals. I'm picking this stuff out for you. We used to go down the lane because we didn't have a match to light the fire in the heater. So we would go down to Miss Shelley. We would go down to Miss Shelley with a bucket and look in her heater, and she would give us some live coals out of her heater. And we would take them back home and pour them in our heater and make a fire. That's what we used to do back home. So it said that he went over to the altar and got a live coal. I mean, that was hot. It was a hot coal. A piece of stuff that was burned, and it was burned. You barbecue that, and you put the coals on the grill, and you put your oil on there, and you get them all fired up. But you don't put your meat on it right away because the coals are not ready yet. But when they get ready, this white stuff forms over that coal, and then the wind blows, and it blows that white stuff off, and you see that red coal is ready. So this is what the seraphim did. He got that live coal off the altar, and he came back and he stuck it to Isaiah's lips. That's to purify his lips. Now, I don't know why Isaiah said that, but that's what he said he did. Took a live coal and stuck it to his lips. It seems like when he put that to his lips, it would have made him sore. But it wasn't about being sore. Oh well, it was about being clean. That's what it was about, being clean. So it said he stuck it to his lips. And then he heard God talking. And it's a wonderful thing to hear God talking. I'm about done. But it's a wonderful thing. When you're in trouble, when you're in a difficult time, you need to hear God say something. You don't need to talk. You don't need to talk. You need to hear God talk. And all you need to do, sometimes all you need to do when he goes talking, answer him. Because he's saying something to you. And he wants you to respond to what he said. He don't want to just do the talking and you don't respond. He wants responding after he talks. So he heard God talking. And God said these things to him. Said, who will go for us? Who shall we send? Who will go for us? Who shall we send? Isaiah had been depending on Uzzah. He had been in a difficult situation. up to this point. He was in a mess up to this point. Isaiah was in a deplorable condition up until this point. But God is talking now. And God said, who shall we send and who will go for us? It's there. Who will go for us? Now Isaiah then said, well, I would have went, but these people that I've been around, I could go, but they're not going to hear me. I'm not big enough to go out. I didn't go to the Bible college for a month. I didn't go for a year. He didn't make no excuses. When God said, who will go for us and who shall we send? Isaiah said, here am I. Send me. Here am I. Send me. God sent him. God was talking to him. But he said, here am I. Send me. Because he knew at this point that God can do whatever he wanted to do. All we need to know is that God is a doer God. He can do it. Whatever he wants to do, God can do it. So I said again, vision of God in difficult times. We were in a difficult situation. When I was born in sin. Born in sin. So I was in a difficult situation. Being in Arkansas, I thought that whatever I was doing was okay. I figured, Mom, if there's anything to be known, to be right, Mom was the one to talk to. And I would go to Mom with everything, anything. It didn't make no difference from what it was. I go to Mom and I ask her a question, and guess what? She had an answer for it. And the answer that she gave me was not a crazy answer. It was a thing that made sense. Everything that I asked about, it really did make sense. It was something good for my life. It was good for what I was doing. We lived in a difficult time. We lived in the South. And in the 50s and 60s were difficult times in the South. And all you got to do is look at history. You find out that it wasn't good down there. We went to school. We had our own school, this old dilapidated place down the hill here that we had to walk. We didn't have a bus. We didn't have good basketball. We didn't have good baseball fields. We didn't have tennis shoes and that we could run track. We had some shoes that Mom bought us. You probably know what they are. They're called penny loafers. You heard about them? Yeah, penny loafers. And if you were lucky enough, and I take the word luck off, you were blessed enough to find a penny, you put it right there in the, and it had some tennis shoes that were called kegs. You remember them, don't you? They're black and white. Kind of high top tennis. We wasn't able to get all that stuff. But that we went to school down here. And the other kids, and I ain't calling who they are, but they was up the road here. And we got the books after they got done with the books. They would pass them down to us. So we were always 1 year behind those children up there. You know who they are. We was always 1 year behind them. So we was in a difficult time. We had to go to the field. I'm closing out. I'm trying to. We had to go to the field at 6 o'clock in the morning and chop cotton until 6 o'clock that evening. And at 6 o'clock that evening, the man that we were working for would come out and he'd whip out his wallet and he would give each one of us $3 each. All day long. You done chop cotton all day long in 105 and 110 degree weather, and you had 30 minutes to eat your lunch that was in a brown paper bag or gallon molasses bucket sitting under the tree. And while we were eating lunch, this other person was sharpening our hoe so that we can go back to the field. You couldn't stop to sharpen your hoe, and that moodle grass and that Johnson, you know what I'm talking about. We lived in all I'm trying to say is we lived in a difficult time. Lived in a difficult time. But that was the time when I went down to a church called the Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church. And I wanted to know something about God. And all of the older people would tell me when I got on the morning bank, I got on the motor's bench and I wanted to be saved. I didn't know anything about it, but I wanted to be saved. So I got on the motor's bench. And they told me, you can't play basketball, you can't play baseball, you can't play football, you can't go run, you can't do this. And I was wanting to do all that stuff. And no, all day long you got to be consecrating and praying and studying. No. I want to go play stickball with my friends. I want to go fishing. No. For 2 weeks, you gotta be in the church. You gotta walk. Yes, you gotta be. Yes. We figured you just had to walk around. That's what we figured. That ain't what they meant. But I wanted what everybody else got. And I remember the night that I accepted the Lord. I accepted Jesus Christ. That night that I accepted, my friend caught onto my shirt and said, "Wait on me." Wasn't no waiting now. Ain't no waiting now. I ain't waiting. I'm gone. I'm out of here. But we lived in a difficult time.
Amen.
Back in Arkansas, in Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church, I heard God speak. And I knew that I had to change my lifestyle. And I ain't saying that night that I changed my lifestyle, but I got something from God enough for me to work on that me. Work on that me. And I started working on that me. And I made it to Omaha, Nebraska. And I met a man they called James Lee Jackson. You know him. And he said, in order to get burned, you got to get close to the fire. And we joined the Church of God in Christ Congregational. Boy, did I get burned. Boy, did I get burned. And I'm set on fire. And I thank God for you. I thank God for this opportunity. Thank you, Bishop, for this opportunity. God's vision in difficult times. If you got a problem, whatever it is that's bothering you, I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. All you need to do is to see God. That's all you need to do. If you just look at God, if you see God, He will talk to you. And He will tell you what to do. Won't He do it? If you need to get out of something, all you need to do is talk to God and He'll tell you how to get out of it, won't He?
Yes, He will.
And if you can't get out of it, guess what He'll do? He'll reach way down and pick you up. And He'll put your foot on a solid rock on it. Yeah, He will. He will. Let's pray.